Why does loving him feel like suffocating? Every morning I wake up with the same thought. Today I will end this. And every night I sleep beside the same fear. What if I am wrong about him? Being with him is like standing inside a beautiful glass room. From outside, it looks safe. From inside, there is no air. When the wind moves freely through trees, I stare at them for too long. Branches bend, leaves shake, but they are allowed to move. I am not. He never shouts. That is the problem. If he screamed, maybe I could hate him easily. But he speaks softly, like someone holding a knife wrapped in silk. Sometimes I feel like I am overthinking. Sometimes I feel like I am in danger. And the worst part? I don't know which feeling is real. The first crack in me happened during my cousin's Sangeet. I had been waiting for that function for months. Our house was full of noise, relatives, bright clothes. Mehendi smell filled the air. Songs played from morning till night. I imagined myself dancing. Not perfectly, not beautifully, just freely. I told him everything. How I bought a bright dress. How I wanted to dance in the holy colors after the ceremony. How I wanted to forget stress and just laugh. He listened. Silent. Too silent. The day before the function, clouds gathered in the sky. And in him. He called me at night. "If you go tomorrow," he said calmly, "I will not be alive when you come back." No anger. No drama. Just a flat voice. My heart stopped. I laughed nervously. "Stop joking," I said. "I am not joking." The line went quiet. Outside, thunder rolled slowly. Inside, something colder formed. Was he emotionally blackmailing me? Was this love? Or was this control dressed as care? I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling while wedding songs played softly from the next house. I imagined colors on my cheeks, music in my bones, freedom in my feet. Morning came. My cousins were shouting my name. "Come fast, we are late!" My dress was ready. My bangles were shining. He sent one message. "Think carefully." That was it. No explanation. My hands started shaking. I imagined returning home and hearing terrible news. I imagined him doing something to himself. I imagined guilt crushing me forever. So I removed my bangles. I folded the dress. I told everyone I was sick. That evening, music echoed through the street. I sat near my window and listened to distant laughter. Every drumbeat felt like someone knocking inside my chest. I hated him. I hated myself more. Rain started falling suddenly, heavy, wild. I pressed my palm against the window glass. The raindrops slid down freely. I whispered, "Why can't I?" That night, he called. "You made the right choice," he said softly. Right choice. My room felt smaller. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask him, "Who are you to decide my right choice?" But I didn't. That was the day I started feeling trapped. And that was only the beginning. After the Sangeet incident, I stopped arguing, not because I agreed with him, but because I was tired. Tired of explaining simple happiness. A few weeks later, my college announced a trip to the hills. 3 days. Cold wind, bonfire nights, long bus rides with music. When I saw the notice board, something inside me felt light. Mountains always made me feel small in a good way, like my problems were tiny compared to something bigger. I wanted that feeling. This time, I didn't tell him immediately. I registered quietly. For 2 days, I carried that secret like a small piece of freedom in my pocket. But secrets don't stay hidden around him. He called me one evening. "You're going on a trip?" My stomach tightened. "Yeah," I said carefully. "Cancel it. No hello. No, how are you? Just that." "Why?" I asked. "Because I said so." I laughed nervously. "It's just a college trip. I don't like it." That was his reason. "I already paid," I said. "Then lose the money." His voice was flat, like my excitement was unnecessary noise. "It's not about money." I tried again. It's about going out, being with friends. You go out enough. That hurt. I don't go out enough. I stopped going out because of him. I'm not asking permission, I said softly. There was a pause. Then his tone changed slightly. You think I don't know how these trips are? Boys drinking, late nights, no control. You don't need that. Need? Who decides what I need? It's my decision, I said. Silence. The kind of silence that makes your heart beat loud. If something happens, don't call me, he said finally, and he cut the call. The sky outside was wide and clear that evening, blue without limits. I felt like I was staring at something I was not allowed to touch. The next morning, I received a message. Your trip registration has been canceled. I didn't cancel it. He did. He had my login details from before. I felt exposed, like someone entered my room without knocking. I called him immediately. Why did you cancel it? You weren't listening. That doesn't give you the right. I saved you from nonsense. Nonsense. My happiness was nonsense. You don't understand the world, he continued. I'm practical. You're emotional. Every word felt like a small push, not strong enough to fall, but strong enough to lose balance. My friends are going, I whispered. Then let them go. He sounded bored now, like the conversation was unnecessary. That evening, my friends sent pictures from the bus, wind in their hair, arms outside windows, laughing without thinking. I stared at those photos for too long. The mountains in the background looked huge, unbothered, uncontrolled. I imagined standing there, cold air on my face, no one deciding for me. Instead, I was sitting in my room, the fan spinning above me in circles, round and round, like my thoughts. That night, I didn't cry. I just felt empty, like someone slowly removing pieces of me and calling it protection. I started wondering something dangerous. Is this love, or is this ownership? And why? Why do I still stay? My birthday came quietly that year. I didn't want anything big, just dinner with friends, laughter, photos, one night of feeling light. I bought a blue dress. Not bold, not dramatic, just something that made me feel confident when I looked in the mirror. For once, I liked what I saw. When he saw me, he didn't smile. His eyes moved slowly from my head to my feet. Not admiring, inspecting. What is this? He asked. A dress, I said, trying to laugh. Obviously, he replied. That tone, not angry, not joking, just dismissive. Change it. My smile faded. Why? It doesn't suit you. How? It just doesn't. That was not an answer. I like it, I said quietly. He stepped closer. You always like things that don't match your personality. Personality? It's just a dress. Exactly, it's just a dress. So why are you arguing? The way he said arguing, like I was creating drama over nothing. It's my birthday, I reminded him. And? That single word felt heavier than a slap. And I want to wear what I like. He exhaled slowly. You don't know how people look at girls in dresses like this. Dresses like this? It wasn't even short. You're overreacting, I said. No, he replied calmly. You're naive. Naive. The word stuck inside my chest. You think everyone is innocent, he continued. You don't understand attention. I do. So now I was stupid too. I don't want my girlfriend dressing like that. There it was. Not concern. Ownership. My girlfriend. Not me. Something inside me started shaking. Not fear. Anger. Are you ashamed of me? I asked. He laughed softly. Don't twist it. I'm helping you. Helping you. Helping you. Why does help feel like control? You always make small things big, he said. That's your problem. Suddenly I felt small, like I was overreacting, like maybe I was dramatic. But deep inside, something was screaming. It's your body. It's your choice. He looked at me again. If you respect me, you'll change. Respect. Again that word. Respect meant obedience. Respect meant silence. Respect meant shrinking. I went back to my room, closed the door. The mirror stood in front of me. For a moment I saw confidence. Then doubt slowly covered it. Maybe he's right. Maybe it's too much. Maybe I don't understand. I hated that thought. Slowly, I removed the dress. Each movement felt heavier. I folded it carefully, like folding courage. When I came out wearing something else, he nodded once. Approval. That nod burned deeper than insults. Better, he said. Better. During dinner, my friends complimented me. You look cute. I smiled. But inside, I knew something. The girl who bought that blue dress did not come to dinner. She stayed behind in the cupboard. That night, I stood under the open sky. The moon was bright. No one told it to dim itself. No one asked it to change. I touched my arm gently, my own skin. And I asked myself something I was scared to answer. When did I start asking permission to exist? The art workshop started at 4 p.m. I decided I would go. This time I didn't want to bend, didn't want to shrink, didn't want to fold myself like that blue dress. I told him clearly. I'm going. He looked at me. No surprise, no curiosity. You're not. It wasn't a request, it was a statement. I am, I said. My voice was shaking slightly, but I didn't lower it. You don't need it. I want it. Silence filled the room. Then suddenly, if you walk out that door, I will kill myself. The words fell heavily, not loud, but sharp. I felt heat rush to my face. Again. Again this. How many times? How many times will you tie my freedom to your death? I felt something snap inside me. Stop it! I shouted. He stared at me. You always do this, I continued. Every time I want something, you threaten me. I'm serious. I'm tired. My voice was louder now. I'm tired of your emotional blackmail. His face didn't change. If you go, don't expect me to be here when you return. Something dark rose inside me. Fine, I said angrily. Then don't be here. The words shocked even me. You want to die? Go. Do it. Even if you die, I will live the way I want. The room went silent. Even the fan sounded loud. For a second, I saw something flicker in his eyes. Not fear, not anger, just stillness. I grabbed my bag. I'm not your prisoner, I said. I don't want to live like a goat nodding to everything you say. My heart was beating fast. I walked toward the door. My hand touched the handle. Behind me there was no shouting, no crying, no running footsteps. Just silence. I stepped outside. The evening sky was gray. Wind was strong. I walked fast, anger pushing me forward. But with every step, my thoughts grew louder. Was I too harsh? Should I have said that? Even if he is wrong, should I talk like that? But then another voice inside me answered, is he right to stop you? Is love a cage? Do you want to live like this forever? I kept walking. Each step felt heavy. I reached the workshop building. Small white gate, soft music inside. I lifted my foot to step in. And then I paused. My chest tightened. What if he actually does something? What if something happens? Will it be my fault? I stood there frozen. Wind moved my hair across my face. Inside the studio, people were laughing. Outside, I was fighting myself. Shit, I whispered. I slowly pulled my foot back. I didn't enter. Instead, I turned and walked in the opposite direction. Not home, just away. Tears burned my eyes. Why am I still losing? Why does he still win even when I shout? Why can't I just choose myself without guilt? The sky darkened slowly. Streetlights came on. I felt exhausted. Not physically, mentally. Like I was running in circles. That night, I didn't tell him I didn't go. He didn't ask. He was sitting quietly when I returned. Stubborn. Calm. Like nothing happened. I hated that calm face. I hated that I still cared. And more than anything, I hated that even after screaming, even after deciding, I still turned back. I walked back slowly. Anger half. Guilt half. Mind full. He was standing outside the house. Still. Like he hadn't moved at all. For a second, our eyes met. I looked away first. I didn't want to soften. I didn't want to melt. I started walking past him. Suddenly, his fingers caught my wrist. Not tight, not rough, just firm enough to stop me. Before I could react, he pulled me gently toward him. And then, he hugged me. Strong, warm, unexpected. My body froze for a second. His chest was steady against mine. I could hear his heartbeat. Slow, controlled. His hand slid to my back, palm warm against my skin. I know you're angry, he whispered near my ear. His breath touched my neck. Soft. I love you. That voice. Low. Close. The same voice that makes my mind go silent. His fingers moved slowly along my arm. Not fast. Not desperate. Just slow enough to make me forget why I was upset. My thoughts started fading. All that anger. All that shouting. It disappeared like fog under sunlight. His chin rested lightly near my shoulder. You're mine, he murmured softly. There was something possessive in that tone, but it felt safe. His thumb brushed gently against my waist. My breath changed. Why does his touch make everything blur? Why does one hug undo hours of frustration? I tried to remember the workshop, the shouting, the threats, but my mind felt empty. All I could feel was warmth. His warmth. I don't want to fight with you, he said quietly. I just want you close. Close. That word made my chest soften. His hand moved up slowly to hold my face. He lifted my chin slightly. His eyes were calm again. Deep. Unreadable. You think I control you, he said softly. But I just care too much. Care. That word again. He brushed his thumb lightly across my cheek. I closed my eyes for a second. That was my mistake. When I opened them again, I was no longer angry. I was just tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of resisting. He leaned his forehead gently against mine. Stay, he whispered. And I stayed. That night, we sat quietly. No argument. No tension. Just him holding my hand loosely. Sometimes he squeezed my fingers slowly, small gestures. Soft. Comforting. And I hated myself for how quickly I forgave him. Later, lying on my bed, I stared at the ceiling. Why does this happen every time? He hurts me. I decide to leave. He pulls me close. I melt. I forget. Is this love? Or is this addiction? Why does his touch erase my logic? Why does his voice make my anger disappear? I turned to my side. He was asleep peacefully. How does he sleep so calmly? Inside me, storms were still moving. I whispered into the dark. Why do I always lose when he hugs me? And the worst part? Tomorrow, if it happens again, I know I will melt again. And I hate that about myself. The next day, I went to the park. I don't know what I was searching for. Answers? Proof? Or just another reason to hurt myself? The evening looked normal. Children were playing. Leaves were moving gently. Nothing dramatic. Except him. He was standing under that big tree. Not alone. There was a girl in front of him. They were not laughing. Not smiling. They were serious. The kind of serious that makes your stomach tighten. I stayed where I was, far enough to pretend I wasn't watching. Close enough to see everything. I couldn't hear their voices. But sometimes silence speaks louder than words. He leaned forward slightly. She shook her head. He stepped closer. Then he slowly bent down, one knee touching the ground. My heart forgot how to beat for a second. Why would someone kneel like that? Why hold her hand with both hands? Why look at her with that intensity? My chest started burning. It didn't look casual. It didn't look friendly. It looked important. Too important. Suddenly, every restriction replayed inside me. The Sangeeth night, the Hills trip, the dress, the workshop. Why did he stop me every time? To protect me? Or to hide something? Or someone? The mind is dangerous when it starts connecting dots. I stared at the girl's face carefully. Something about her felt familiar. Not clearly, just a strange pull. Have I seen her before? Where? Why does my body recognize her before my brain does? He was still kneeling, still speaking. She looked uncomfortable, almost refusing something. Why does he look desperate? Why does she look firm? Why does this scene feel like betrayal even without hearing a single word? I took one step forward. Dry leaves cracked under my feet. She noticed me first. Her expression changed. He turned. Our eyes met. For that 1 second, I saw something in him. Not anger. Not guilt. Fear. Why fear? What is he afraid of? He stood up quickly, took a step toward me, then stopped, like he was calculating something. She said something urgently. I couldn't hear, but I saw tension. And then he stepped back and ran. He ran away from me. Why run? If there is nothing to hide, why run? My chest tightened violently. My thoughts became loud. So this is it? This is the reason? This is why I'm kept inside invisible walls? The world started spinning slightly. The sky looked far. The ground felt unstable. My heart was racing too fast. I tried to breathe, but even air felt heavy. The last thing I remember, her running toward me, and him choosing distance. Then everything went dark. Darkness wasn't sudden. It felt like falling into water, not drowning, just sinking. Voices were there, but far away, like they belonged to another world. Was he calling my name? Or was that my imagination wanting him to? I couldn't tell. When I opened my eyes, the ceiling above me looked unfamiliar. White. Too white. The air smelled different. Clean. Cold. Hospitals always feel like places where truth waits silently. I didn't move. For a moment, I didn't want to remember. Then the part came back. The tree. The kneeling. The hand-holding. The running. My chest tightened again. Why did he run? If I misunderstood, he could have stayed. If he was innocent, he could have explained. Running is what guilty people do, right? I turned my head slightly. She was there, sitting quietly near my bed, watching me. Not nervously, not proudly, just watching. That face, that familiarity again. Why did she look like a memory I cannot fully catch? You're awake, she said softly. Her voice didn't sound like someone who stole something. It sounded steady. Why steady? I tried to sit up. My body felt heavier than usual. Weak, as if something inside me had drained out. Don't rush, she said. Rush? I wasn't rushing. I was just trying to feel normal again. Where is he? I asked. The question escaped before I could stop it. She paused. Just for a second. He left, she said. Left. Again. He leaves when I fight him. He leaves when I shout. And now, he leaves when I fall. Is that coincidence? Or pattern? My mind replayed his face. That fear. Why was he scared? Of me? Of her? Of something I still don't know? I closed my eyes for a moment. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe that wasn't what it looked like. Maybe kneeling doesn't mean proposing. Maybe holding hands doesn't mean betrayal. But then? Why did my heart react like that? Why did my body collapse? Was it shock or something else? You pushed yourself too much, she said quietly. Pushed? I wasn't running. I wasn't dancing. I was just watching. Unless my body reacts before my brain understands. I stared at the ceiling again. The white felt endless, like a blank page waiting for something to be written. But what is the truth? Is he the villain I believe he is? Or am I building a story from pieces I don't fully see? And why? Why does this feel like the beginning of something bigger, not the end? She stepped outside to answer a call. The room became quiet again. Too quiet. Hospitals have a strange silence. Not peaceful. Heavy. Like secrets are sitting in corners. I turned my head slightly. There was a small table beside the bed. A file was placed on it. Closed. My name written on the top. Why is my name here? Why does it feel like it has always been here, waiting? My fingers felt weak as I reached for it. Just a small movement made my hand tremble. Why am I shaking? I opened it slowly. Paper makes a different sound in quiet rooms. Loud. Accusing. My eyes moved over the words. Medical terms. Numbers. Underlined sentences. I didn't understand everything. But one word stood out. Nervous system sensitivity. Another line. High physical exertion may trigger collapse. Collapse. I swallowed slowly. My mind went back to the park. Was that what happened? Or was it heartbreak? I turned the page. Another note. Avoid intense physical strain. Strain. Dance. Hills. Late nights. Everything flashed together. My breathing changed slightly. I remembered the Sangeeth. The way my legs burned quickly. I remembered dancing alone in my room. The dizziness. The breathlessness. Was that normal? Or was I ignoring something? My eyes moved to the bottom of the page. Date. Months ago. Months. That was around the time, no. Wait. Around the time we went to that clinic, the same day I noticed him becoming different. The same week he started restricting things. My fingers tightened around the file. Did he know? If he knew, why didn't he tell me? Why control instead of explain? Why threaten instead of trust? Footsteps approached. I quickly closed the file. The door opened. She walked in. Her eyes immediately went to the table, then to my face. You shouldn't read that alone, she said softly. Alone? So there is something to read. You knew, I whispered. She didn't deny it. She just stood there. You both knew, I continued. Still silence. Silence can be confirmation. Did he ask you something in the park? I asked. She hesitated. He was on his knees, begging, not proposing, begging. For what? For treatment? I asked slowly. Her eyes shifted. Not surprised, not shocked, just measured. He didn't want you to push yourself, she said carefully. Push myself. Why does that sound different now? I leaned back against the pillow. My heart felt heavy again. Not angry heavy, confused heavy. If he was protecting me, why did it feel like prison? If he was scared for me, why did he make me scared of him? Outside the window, wind moved the trees. They bent, but didn't break. Was I bending or breaking? And why does love feel like something that hides the truth instead of sharing it? It was almost evening when the door opened again. I didn't look up immediately. I knew it was him. Somehow, I knew. The room changed. Air shifted slightly. That familiar silence entered before he did. He stopped near the door. Not close to me. Not far either. Just standing there, as if unsure whether he had the right to move forward. I turned my head slowly. He looked tired. Not angry. Not defensive. Tired. His eyes searched my face carefully, like he was checking if I was still breathing. Are you okay? He asked softly. Such a normal question. As if yesterday didn't happen. As if he didn't run. As if I didn't collapse watching him kneel in front of another girl. I didn't answer. Silence can hurt more than shouting. He stepped closer. Just one step. I didn't run because of you, he said. I laughed quietly. You ran away from me. He didn't deny it. I panicked, he replied. You always panic when I don't listen to you, I asked. That hit him. I saw it. He inhaled slowly. You shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been there? So now the park belongs to him too? I can go wherever I want, I said. My voice felt weaker than my anger. You fainted, he said, because I saw you on your knees. Silence again. That silence between us felt different now, heavy with things unsaid. It wasn't what you think, he said. That sentence always sounds like a lie. Then what was it? I asked. He looked away for a moment, then back at me. I was asking for help. Help? For what? For you? The words hung in the air. I didn't react. I didn't soften. I don't need you begging other women for me, I said. His jaw tightened slightly. She works at the clinic, he said carefully. The word clinic hit differently now. I saw the file, I interrupted. He froze. So he didn't know I knew. Good, for once, I was ahead. You knew? I said quietly. You knew something was wrong. He didn't speak. You knew for months. His silence confirmed everything. And instead of telling me, I continued, you decided to control me. His eyes closed briefly. It's not that simple. It is that simple, I said. You don't threaten someone you love. His eyes snapped open at that. I never meant to threaten you. You said you would die. My voice cracked slightly. You said that if I walk out, you wouldn't be alive. He stepped closer now. That was wrong, he admitted. The honesty surprised me. But you don't understand what it's like watching you strain yourself, he continued. There it was again. Strain. You don't get to decide what I can handle, I said. He looked at me like he wanted to say something bigger, something heavier, but he held it back. I thought if I limited the situations, he said slowly, you wouldn't get hurt. Limited. That word felt cleaner than control, but it still meant the same thing. You made me feel like a prisoner, I whispered. His face changed. That hurt him. I was scared, he said quietly. Of what? He looked at my hands. They were slightly trembling. Of losing you. He didn't say it loudly. He didn't say it dramatically. He just said it like a fact. And somehow, that felt more dangerous than shouting. I turned my face away. Because if I looked at him too long, I might soften again. And I'm tired of softening. I don't know if you protected me, I said slowly, or if you broke me. The room fell silent again. Outside, wind brushed against the hospital window. Gentle. Not violent, just present. And for the first time, I wasn't sure who the villain was anymore. He didn't sit. He didn't move closer. He just stood there like someone waiting for a verdict. You read the file, he said quietly. Not accusing, just confirming. Yes. And? And I don't understand why I had to find out like this. My voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. He dragged a chair slowly and sat down. For the first time in months, he didn't look in control. He looked human. I found out that day at the clinic, he said. I remembered that day suddenly. How normal it felt, how routine it seemed. You were laughing while the doctor was explaining, he continued softly. You thought it was nothing. I tried to remember. Did I laugh? Maybe I did. I always laugh when things feel uncomfortable. You don't react well to bad news, he said. I panic. The word felt ugly. So you decided I shouldn't know? I decided I would handle it. Handle it. As if I was a project. You don't get to handle my body, I said. His jaw tightened again. I saw what happens when you push yourself, he said. When you danced that night at home. I froze. He knew. I saw you struggling to breathe, he continued. You thought I didn't notice. My throat felt dry. He noticed everything. When you climb stairs too fast, your legs shake, he said. When you get too emotional, your pulse goes crazy. Why does it feel different hearing it from him, like someone has been watching quietly? Watching carefully. You fainted yesterday because your body couldn't take the shock, he said. Or maybe because I saw you kneel, I replied. His eyes closed for a second. That, he said slowly, was about asking them to start an aggressive treatment. Treatment. The one they said is risky, he added. Risky. The word felt heavy. I didn't kneel to propose, he said quietly. I knelt because they refused to prioritize your case. My mind went still. They said we could wait, he continued. I didn't want to wait. For a moment, I didn't speak, because something inside me shifted slightly. Not enough to forgive, but enough to pause. You still ran, I said finally. Yes. He didn't defend it. Why? He looked at me directly now. Because when you looked at me, you didn't look angry. He paused. You looked like you broke. The sentence hit differently. And I knew if I came closer, you would push yourself emotionally again. Emotionally. And that's when your body collapses. He was not shouting, not pleading, just stating it plainly. I thought distance would calm you faster than explanation. Distance. He chose distance. I leaned back slowly. My mind replayed every moment. The threats. The restrictions. The control. Was it fear badly expressed, or was it still control wearing a softer name? I still felt trapped, I said quietly. He nodded. I know. No excuses. No dramatic speeches. Just acknowledgement. You could have told me, I whispered. Yes. You should have trusted me. Yes. The honesty made it harder to hate him. Outside the window, evening light faded slowly. I looked at my hands again. They were still trembling slightly. Maybe they had been for months, and I never noticed. I don't want to live like I'm fragile, I said. You're not fragile, he replied immediately. Your system just reacts differently. Differently. Not weak, not broken, just different. I closed my eyes. For months I thought he was shrinking my world. Maybe he was just terrified of losing it. But fear can suffocate too. And love that suffocates still hurts. When I opened my eyes again, I asked the question that had been sitting quietly inside me. If I choose to dance one day, knowing the risk, will you stop me again? He didn't answer immediately. That pause mattered, because the answer would decide everything. If I choose to dance one day, knowing the risk, will you stop me again? The question stayed between us. He didn't answer immediately. And that silence mattered, because before he would have answered for me. Now, he was thinking. Finally. No, he said slowly, not quickly, not defensively. No. I watched his face carefully. No, I repeated. I won't stop you, he said. I'll stand next to you. That was different. Not behind me. Not in front of me. Next to me. You'll still worry, I said. Yes. You'll still be scared. Yes. But I won't cage you, he added quietly. The word cage hung in the air, because we both knew that's what it had been. I was wrong, he continued. I thought love meant preventing risk. He looked at my hands again. I didn't realize I was preventing you. Something inside me softened. Not because he protected me, but because he admitted it. You made me feel small, I said. I know. You made me doubt myself. I know. You made me afraid of wanting things. His eyes lowered slightly. I was afraid too. Fear. Two people. Different fears, crashing into each other. I don't want to live like I'm being monitored, I said. You won't, he replied. Then don't threaten me again. I won't. Don't decide for me again. I won't. And don't run. That one stayed heavier. He looked at me for a long moment. I won't run. There was no dramatic background music, no grand gesture. Just two tired people choosing honesty. Healthy love isn't intense. It's steady. I want to know everything, I said. About my condition, about the risks, about the treatment. You will, he said, and I'll decide with you. With, not for. The difference was small, but powerful. I took a slow breath. For the first time in months, it didn't feel restricted. I don't want to be protected from life, I said. I just want to live it carefully. He nodded. That's all I ever wanted too, he admitted. Outside, the wind moved gently through the trees. Not violent, not trapped, just flowing. I still don't like how you handled it, I said. You shouldn't. That made me smile slightly. Real accountability, not excuses. He reached for my hand slowly. Not gripping, not pulling, just offering. I looked at his hand for a second, then placed mine in it. Not because I was melting, not because I forgot everything, but because this time I was choosing. And that felt different. Healthy love doesn't remove fear. It teaches you how to face it together. Months later, I stood at another family function. Music loud, lights bright, people dancing. He stood beside me, not blocking, not warning, just watching carefully. 5 minutes, I told him with a small smile. He nodded. 5 minutes. I stepped forward. Not recklessly, not fearlessly, but confidently. I danced. Not for hours, not to prove anything, just enough to feel alive. When I came back slightly breathless, he didn't say, I told you so. He handed me water and smiled. Not possessively, not controlling, just proud. For the first time, I didn't feel caged. I felt understood. And maybe my weird boyfriend was never weird. Maybe he was just scared. And maybe so was I.